Greetings, friends. In today's video, we will look at the fascinating journey of Hanukkah, its ancient origins, the evolving customs that surround it, and how it has found a unique place in modern American life. Imagine it's 1979, and President Jimmy Carter is standing outside in Washington, D.C., lighting what would become a historic symbol of Hanukkah in the United States, the national menorah. At that moment, it was a modest representation, much like the Hanukkah menorahs we light at home. Fast forward 40 years, and that menorah has grown into a towering symbol, standing 9 meters tall, so tall, in fact, it requires a hydraulic lift to light its candles. This transformation isn't just about scale, it's a reflection of how Hanukkah's significance has evolved in American culture. While some mistakenly think of Hanukkah as the Jewish Christmas, its true history and traditions tell a different story, one rooted in resilience, dedication, and cultural adaptation. Let's start with a bit of history. Hanukkah, or the Festival of Lights, commemorates the rededication of the Jerusalem Temple in 165 BCE. This was after Judah Maccabee and his followers successfully revolted against the Seleucid Empire, reclaiming their religious freedom. However, if you've heard the popular story of a single flask of oil lasting 8 days, you might be surprised to learn that it's a much later addition to the tradition, one that emerged centuries after the events it celebrates. The story first appears in the Talmud, a central text of Rabbinic Judaism, compiled long after the original accounts found in the books of Maccabees. This evolving narrative highlights how religious traditions can adapt and grow over time. But what about the rituals? Lighting the menorah, spinning the dreidel, and eating foods fried in oil are now central to Hanukkah celebrations. These customs, however, are far from uniform. In Ashkenazi communities, foods like latkes and jelly-filled donuts, or sufganiyot, take center stage. Meanwhile, Sephardic and Mizrahi traditions include delicacies like Moroccan sfenj, a spongy fried dough. And then there's the game of dreidel, a delightful pastime for many families during the holiday. While legend has it that dreidels were used to disguise Torah study during persecution, historians suggest the game actually shares roots with European spinning top games. It's a wonderful example of how cultures influence and enrich each other. Now, here's where things get really interesting. In the United States, Hanukkah has taken on a larger-than-life role, partly as a way for Jewish families to maintain their identity while participating in a broader cultural landscape. Starting in the 19th century, American rabbis and Jewish organizations began elevating Hanukkah's significance, creating festive events for children and even encouraging gift-giving, practices that mirrored the growing prominence of Christmas. By the 20th century, Hanukkah had become a highly visible celebration, with public menorah lightings and elaborate family traditions. Groups like Chabad Lubavitch played a key role in this transformation, emphasizing the importance of publicizing the holiday's central miracle. Before we continue, it's worth mentioning that not all Jewish communities observe Hanukkah in the same way. For example, Karaite Jews, who base their practices solely on the Hebrew Bible and not on rabbinic teachings, view Hanukkah as a rabbinical holiday rather than a biblically mandated one. As such, it is not considered an obligatory observance within Karaite Judaism. While some Karaites may light candles or acknowledge the historical events of the Maccabean revolt, they often do so as a cultural or historical commemoration rather than a religious requirement. However, if Karaites choose to celebrate Hanukkah, it is perfectly fine and seen as a personal or communal choice that honors tradition in their own way. Similarly, Noahides, non-Jews who follow the 7 laws of Noah and often align themselves with Jewish teachings, may also choose to celebrate Hanukkah as a way to connect with Jewish history and values. This highlights the diversity of interpretation and practice within the Jewish world, reminding us of the richness and complexity of Jewish tradition. It's important to remember that Hanukkah's origins are steeped in the struggle for religious freedom. The Maccabees, a small group of Jewish rebels, fought against a powerful empire to preserve their faith and way of life. This story of perseverance and dedication resonates deeply even today. The term Festival of Lights was first recorded by the Jewish historian Josephus, who mentioned that the holiday was celebrated with light, but didn't explain why. Over time, this focus on light became symbolic of hope, resilience, and the miracle associated with the holiday. This evolution of meaning shows how rituals and stories adapt to meet the spiritual and cultural needs of each generation. Speaking of evolving traditions, let's talk about the dreidel game. Its four-sided top bears Hebrew letters that stand for, "A great miracle happened there." In Israel, the letters are slightly different, signifying "a great miracle happened here." Though it's often linked to the Maccabean revolt, the dreidel's origins likely trace back to European gambling games. Yet its modern significance lies in its ability to bring families together in celebration and joy. And the foods. Hanukkah's culinary customs vary widely. Ashkenazi Jews brought us latkes, while Sephardic and Mizrahi communities celebrate with dishes like sfenj and other fried delicacies. Each dish tells a story of migration, adaptation, and the blending of cultures. Hanukkah's transformation in America is another chapter in its rich history. In the 19th century, Jewish communities began to amplify the holiday's importance as a way to create a parallel to Christmas, ensuring that Jewish children felt included in the festive season. This adaptation wasn't just about assimilation, it was about maintaining identity in a predominantly Christian society. Organizations like Chabad Lubavitch took this public celebration even further, erecting large menorahs in city centers and emphasizing the importance of proclaiming the miracle to the world. For many, this miracle isn't just about oil lasting 8 days. It's about the survival and resilience of the Jewish people. Hanukkah is more than a holiday. It's a testament to the enduring spirit of a people and their ability to adapt and thrive in every era. From its ancient roots in the temple's rededication to its modern celebrations across the globe, Hanukkah reminds us of the light within us all. Thank you for joining me on this exploration. If you enjoyed this journey through Hanukkah's history and traditions, feel free to share your own experiences in the comments. Wishing you a season filled with light, love, and joy. Until next time, take care and happy Hanukkah. If you're interested in diving deeper into similar topics, check out my book available on Amazon. It's filled with insights and explorations of Jewish traditions and history. Thank you for your support.